Guys, my name is Nonima Dikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about Ramsipile's cross-examination of Umncube. It was one of the best cross-examination that he has ever done for me. Why am I saying this? Uramsipile made sure, sorry, because we had a lot of things that we didn't know. When Ramsipile brought the file that he said he got in 2022, he exposed, that was a can of worms for Gininda, because he was showing us that Gininda is a liar. Gininda acted and pretended as if he doesn't know Umncube from a bar of soap, whereas in fact Uramsipile corroborated what Umncube said, that Ugininda and Umncube know each other from a previous matter. That time Ugininda said he doesn't know Umncube up until when he went to see him Gethetika John, because he heard of him from the so-called statement of Ubongani Dad. Do you remember that evidence? Now, Uramsipile shows in court a file that he says he got 2022. That file shows that Ugininda had already had access to file as a Cleveland case. So the things that he is saying, acting as if phone Kamncube was re-downloaded in 2020, is a lie. That is the first expose. The second expose was him agreeing with Umncube that he actually knows you prior this situation that he claims he knows you from. And he also exposed, that file, my goodness, it shows pictures of Umncube, the downloaded pictures, the section 205, etc., etc. So it goes back to one thing: let's expose Gininda for the liar that he is. And now, I love Ramsipile. Ramsipile is meticulous because he exposes that the so-called IO, the so-called brigadier, is a liar. He's a liar, he's a liar, he's a liar. So everything that he says, it needs to be taken with caution because he is not to be trusted. So kahle, he dealt with his credibility to the core. Ramsipile, through Umncube's cross-examination, dealt with Gininda's credibility to the core. Because what do you mean? So you are going to say, I don't know Umncube, I don't know this voice. What do you mean? Whereas you had an encounter before. Hence, we always say that these guys only thought this case is going to last 2020, 2021, and then these guys are going to go down. That is what they thought. And when things fall apart and then we are at 2026, they never foresaw 2026 happening. They never foresaw a prolonged process of the case. Now that there's a prolonged process, they can't stomach it. Now they are busy. Do you see a tomato tree? When you want to climb and hang yourself, that is what is happening, because it's going to fall. The tomato tree is going to fall with those tomatoes with you. You are not going to die. It's going to fall. That is exactly what is happening with the state case. It is falling on top of them because every bit of evidence they have ever brought here is the one that is exposing their case. Everything that Gininda has ever said here is coming back to bite his ass. Everything that, who's this one? Mokgane said there is coming back to bite his ass. Everything that Mukhola said there is coming. Those are the trusted members of Ifemeli Yaga Gininda's cold storage unit. Those people are getting exposed. They are getting exposed, and I pray to God that at some point they don't just get exposed. They get exposed and get arrested for their crimes. And on top of that, one day, I hope the people that are standing with Gininda and Baloyi and the shit that they are doing here, exposing our country like this in a manner that is not in a light manner that is this is in bad light for our country. And then we have stupid people that are supporting the nonsense. And I hope one day, one of the people that is always here, the ones that are always going to Newsroom Africa especially, I hope one day, one of their family, in fact, themselves, they found themselves in a situation like this where we are going to be expected to stand by them. Then we are going to remind them of this situation, because you cannot tell me you are not using your brain to question things. We are not saying that these guys in other criminal matters are innocent when they committed them. We're not there. We're not discussing other criminal matters. Discussing the Senzo Meyiwa case, it makes you stop and ask questions, because when these people were arrested, we were told there's a watertight case. When Gininda came here, he came and in 2023 already, Gininda was talking nonsense. We could hear from his tongue that he is spewing nonsense. From point A to point Z, he was spewing nonsense. Yet you have people that say, yeah, Gininda is the best, Balo is the best. Where? Yes, guys, if these people brought real evidence here, we wouldn't be having these discussions. No, no one was going to stand with the accused. We are standing for the truth because we want the real culprit that shot and killed Senzo to be the one that is answering for that crime, not some random criminal person that did other issues that got dealt with, and then now they are being dealt again just because they did a certain. No, that is where unfairness comes in. That is where unfairness comes in. Deal with each person for the merits of a crime that they committed, not for something they did not do. Now, uRamsipile through cross-examination exposed the hell out of Gininda, and I'm here for it. I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I'm here for it. I do not want to even lie. And then the other thing that I like, uRamsipile showed us the gap between the firearm and the Mncube, and it is the biggest issue. The state may have ballistic evidence linking a particular firearm to the bullet, but Ramsipile's broader challenge is the crucial next step. How does the state prove that Mncube was the person who possessed and used that firearm during Senzo's murder? A firearm can establish a forensic connection. It does not automatically identify the shooter. But then again, the so-called connection and establishment of the forensic report is also the one that is questionable. It is very questionable, and now it needs to make sense. Secondly, the 2014 and 2015 timeline problem. The murder happened in October 2014, while the firearm was allegedly recovered from Mncube in February 2015. That creates an important evidential bridge the state must cross. What evidence places that firearm in Mncube's possession at the time of the murder? This is where the defense can attack the state's chain of circumstances. On top of that, if this firearm in 2015 was in police hands, why didn't it match back then in 2014 that this is the firearm that shot and killed Senzo Meyiwa? Another issue that he touched on, uRamsipile, is the cell phone evidence that does not automatically equal participation. Ramsipile challenged the significance of the state-attached cell phone eye connections. A phone number being associated with someone does not automatically establish who physically possessed the phone, who made a particular communication, what the communication was about, etc., etc. One thing I like about this particular situation, your cell phone, is that the state brings this cell phone, and the other one is the photographs and the metadata controversy. You would remember that. uRamsipile touched on that too. Now, when it comes to the cell phone evidence and the photographs, one thing that you must remember is that each state cannot be selective on how the cell phone is going to be used. They are taking pictures and the cell phone and saying Mncube was in Vosloorus at a certain time. Fair. 11, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, past 4, Vosloorus. But now, when the same phone and the same photographs from the same phone must be used at a later stage, during the crucial time, they say Mncube had no phone. What's good for the gander must be good for the goose, or what's good for the goose must be good for the gander. If you are using the phone for Mncube and you are saying it was with him during the day, why is it going to be separated from him at night? Make it make sense. Another one that he touched on, Ramsipile was just proper. The dreadlocks and the gold identification. uRamsipile told us initially this gold tooth was actually said to be with accused number 2. I don't know when Gininda saw it fit that we need to make sure it belongs to accused number 3, because the people inside the house don't speak about gold, by the way. And the people inside the house, they were in the lights, so they should have seen the gold. They don't speak about it. And now the person that described the issue of a gold is who? Is the so-called Makeleni, At night outside, he says he saw gold. From accused number 2. Now, how did it become accused number 3's gold now all of a sudden? Gininda Ramsipile dealt with you, my guy. He dealt with you. Urata has no choice, but he needs to acquit. And the other person that he dealt with is Zungu and his lies. Oh, he exposed Zungu's ass, Ramsipile, with the cross-examination, because Uzungu even lied and said there's a picture of him, but it's only an elbow. Also find out it was not him. And then there was a picture of Mapisa where he said it's accused number 2, but it was Mapisa. And then there was a picture where he said he was wearing a khodro. And this one is like, accused number 3 is like, first of all, that person is wearing is not wearing a khodro. That person is wearing a Brentwood. And that, I think it's telling Pilo Ndawon, if I'm not mistaken. This one is lying. No, Guman says one. This one is lying when he says it's him. Oh, Betuna, I like it when things come together. So Zungu is a lie. Ramsipile attacked the state's chain, not just individual witnesses. This is perhaps the most important strategic point. The state's case is effectively a chain. Mube, firearm, bullet, photographs, cell phone evidence, witnesses, location, murder. Ramsipile's job was to examine every link. If one link is weak, the state can potentially rely on the evidence. But if multiple links are independently questionable, the cumulative effect can become significant because everything is weak. Everything is weak and weak. Yeah, so suspicion is not proof beyond reasonable doubt. The heart of the defense, even if the state demonstrate that Mncube had connections to certain people, possessed a firearm, appeared in photographs, or was associated with evidence, the ultimate question remains, has the state proved beyond reasonable doubt that Mncube participated in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa? Nah, that is the big question. Now, the biggest takeaway from Ramsipile's cross-examination is that Ramsipile's strongest strategy can be summarized in one sentence. Don't show me connections. Show me the complete evidential bridge connecting Mncube to the murder, because the state doesn't merely need to show Mncube and the gun. It needs to establish Mncube, the gun, possession at the relevant time, and use of the weapon, presence or involvement, and reliable corroboration, plus murder. And every one of those links has to survive scrutiny. Now, the nuclear question for the audience, you guys, is that did Ramsipile merely expose inconsistencies in the state case, or did he expose a fundamentally failure to connect Mncube personally to the killing? That's the debate currently. What are your thoughts? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.